Here's what's coming up on your horizon. Well, as the chairperson of the National Governors Association, Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin has focused on America's workforce, trying to close the skills gap and create a new minimum for today's workers. We will begin our show by focusing on the work underway to ensure Oklahoma has the good middle-class jobs that will make our state strong.
The skills that we needed 50 years ago were different than the skills that we need in today's workforce.
We'll also visit with some local movie makers and see how, thanks to technology, Oklahoma is becoming a hotbed for independent filmmaking.
People say you have to go to LA to make movies. I think you're crazy.
Courtney Dioff heads to a local film festival to see how one school is rolling out the red carpet.
Our goal is to bring Hollywood to Oklahoma.
And we'll take you to the small town of Wakita, Oklahoma to see how a 2 decades old movie still brings visitors there.
We have visitors pretty much every day, all summer long.
And we end our show with a true underdog story starring Oklahoma's very own actor and country music artist, Christian Kane. Stay with us for Oklahoma Horizon.
Oklahoma Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in career tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Rob McClendon.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, governors from around the nation gathered this month in Oklahoma City for the National Governors Association meeting, the culmination of a year-long effort by Oklahoma Governor and NGA Chairperson Mary Fallin to focus on America's workforce. Our Lisa Hines reports.
The industries and the various businesses in our state are changing.
From opening remarks to state education and business leaders.
And the skills that we needed 50 years ago were different than the skills that we need in today's workforce.
Governor Mary Fallin's focus is straightforward.
Is to develop a highly skilled, educated workforce and how important it is not only to our employers that are here in the room, but to our children.
A nationwide initiative called America Works, an effort by the National Governors Association to revive America's middle class.
We need to make sure kids are aware that they can't stop at high school. Far too many kids are dropping out, or they finish high school and they think they're good enough to go, and then they end up in these very low-skill, low-wage jobs, and they have no access to the middle class.
Richard Lane is with the National Governors Association for Best Practices and says technology has made many one-time middle-class jobs obsolete, but created others in their place.
So what we're seeing is the new middle really are those skills that are the Cisco certifications, the Microsoft certifications, where you may not need a BA or an advanced degree, but you still have the jobs that are available where they're relevant in the workforce. Companies need the specific skills and the competencies to be able to do the tasks that are necessary. And in doing that, you create a lot more opportunities for young people that may not want to get the degree, but they know because there's a new minimum that they have to get the workforce certification that's relevant to companies that are hiring them.
Creating a more competitive workforce that starts in the classroom.
It means that we're going to have to work a lot harder in the education world.
Dr. Robert Summers is Oklahoma's Secretary of Education and Workforce Development.
Number one, it means that you can't go to high school, get a job, and never look back on education. You've got to constantly be going in and out of the educational system, whether it be at the career tech system, at the post-secondary level, whether it's at the colleges or community colleges or universities. You got to plan on continuously studying, continuously upgrading your skills, planning to adapt to the workforce.
You know, no longer can we have states kind of skating by with letting kids get out of high school with a equivalency of an 8th grade education or a 10th grade education, because the jobs that are out there, doesn't matter whether you're doing a workforce certification or a BA, you need the solid skills to be able to get an additional education beyond high school. And so for educators, we need to do a lot better job in raising the expectations, the standards for all kids in high school, and we need to make sure kids are aware that they can't stop at high school. Far too many kids are dropping out, or they finish high school and they think they're good enough to go, and then they end up in these very low-skill, low-wage jobs, and they have no access to the middle class.
And I think that's a new message for Oklahomans, is get a strong foundational academic skill set while you're in school. While you're at it, get that career tech credential so that you can get a good paying job, to be able to pay for higher education or post-secondary education, keep going back and forth, make a great living, but enjoy learning.
When we return, I sat down with Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin to learn more about her America Works plan for more middle-class jobs.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
Well, it is middle-class jobs Governor Mary Fallin is focusing on with a program called America Works. I sat down with her moments before the start of the National Governors Association meeting in Oklahoma City. Madam Governor, why did you choose workforce as the subject for the National Governors Association?
Well, because we got to make sure that we have the skills that we need in our workforce to meet the needs of the employers in America. Not only in America, but specifically in Oklahoma. And what we find right now is that technology has changed things. We're in an international global economy. We don't just compete town to town, state to state, but we compete all over the world as a state and certainly as a nation. And we have to make sure that we have the type of skilled, educated workers to take the type of jobs that we have and that our market demands. And the fact of the matter is, we're not meeting those needs. Many times I have employers that tell me, I can't find the workers I need, or I can't find the type of educational or certificates, that educational degrees or certificates I need. And so that's why we developed this initiative, is to put America back to work, put Oklahoma back to work, and to make sure that we're aligning our educational attainment levels with the type of jobs that are available in the workforce.
Now, not only are you bringing governors and governor offices from around the country in today, but also business and industry here in Oklahoma to talk about something called the new minimum, which I think you've just described for us.
I absolutely did just describe the new minimum. And the new minimum means that if you look at where we were, say, 50 years ago, and I've got a little chart here that really demonstrates that, but 50 years ago, about 79% of our workforce in 1965 needed only a high school degree to basically reach the middle class or beyond, or the American dream. But today that number has dropped, that 35% of our jobs in America, and basically here in Oklahoma, need some type of high school degree only. And of this 35% of the jobs in America that need a high school degree, 2/3 of those jobs will pay less than $25,000. You're not going to be able to reach the American dream if you're making $25,000 or less. And so what we got to do is change those dynamics, change them not only for our nation, but change them for our state. We know in the state of Oklahoma that if you look at the educational attainment level of all of our people who are employed, that about 54% of Oklahomans have something more than a high school degree. It could be a couple hours of college, it could be a career technology certificate, it could be an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, or even above. But looking out 6 years from now, in 2020, we know that 77% of all of our jobs in Oklahoma will require something more than a high school degree. And so we have a big skills gap, about a 23% gap. And if we don't fill that skills gap to make sure we have the right type of education levels in our state, career certificates like with Career Tech, what we're going to find is that those jobs won't stay in Oklahoma, or we may just not even attract the jobs to Oklahoma because they can't find the workers they need.
So knowing the challenges that we face, is this an issue that both education, business, and government all need to come together to fix?
Absolutely, and that's what's exciting, is that we are coming together. And that's been the whole part of my initiative, is how do we bring everybody to have a seat at the table, to have common education, career technology, vocational schools, our higher education institutions, our business leaders, and our public policy makers all together to sit at the table and talk about the type of jobs that the employers will need to have filled, and to talk about the skill sets that our students and even working adults who are hoping to move up the career ladder or enter back into the workforce, what type of skill sets will they need? What type of educational attainment will they need to be productive and to be able to reach the American dream?
What do you see your office doing from here after your time as head of the National Governors Association on workforce development?
Well, I'm hoping to bring even more jobs to Oklahoma, and that's been one of my sole focuses, is raising our standard of living in our state, and we actually have. Since 2010, our per capita income has gone up 6.1%, which is ranked number 2 in the nation in income growth for a family of 4. But we can only raise those income levels of our families and give them a better life if we create better paying jobs. And we can only retain and attract better paying jobs if we have the right type of education and skills in the workforce to attract those jobs. And I jokingly say, Wade and I, my husband and I, have 6 children between us, and I want to make sure that all of our children, once they graduate from high school, or graduate from college, I should say, and move on up, that they'll be able to find a good paying job and stay in Oklahoma and be able to support themselves. It's every parent's dream that their children do better than what they did.
And certainly every grandparent's dream.
Absolutely.
All right, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Still to come on Oklahoma Horizon. Oklahoma actor Christian Kane in a true underdog story. But first, film incentives for the state.
Well, a bill to extend a tax incentive program to attract more movie productions to Oklahoma is one of the first bills signed by the governor this session. The bill extends for 10 years a program that allows filmmakers to receive tax rebates of up to $5 million a year on money spent on movie and commercial productions here in Oklahoma.
Many of the studios have an edict. If the state doesn't offer something, we're not going there. And that was never truer than in the case of August Osage County, which filmed here in 2012. And we didn't have the best incentives, but we had something.
Filmmakers will be allowed to recoup 35% of the amount they spend in the state, subject to the program's annual limits of a $5 million cap. Now, the director of Oklahoma's Film and Music Office says the Oscar-nominated movie August Osage County received a rebate of just over $4.5 million while spending roughly $15 million here in the state.
They wanted to make the house look as intrinsically Oklahoman as possible, so they shopped all of our antique stores, secondhand stores, the Frankoma pottery. Everything you see is local.
Now, some lawmakers have opposed the measure, saying the rebate money could be better spent, and they also object to movies like August Osage County, whose portrayal of a dysfunctional family they believe casts Oklahoma in an unfavorable light. Want to share something you've seen here today? Well, all of our episodes are streaming on our YouTube channel at Oklahoma Horizon TV, or you can subscribe to our weekly free podcasts on iTunes. Well, not all movies made in Oklahoma are big budget blockbusters. A growing number of smaller independent films are being shot in the state by homegrown producers. Here's our Andy Barth.
Well, from dramas to suspense films, Oklahoma is home to the movie-making scene. And for one Oklahoma filmmaker, it was time to bring the supernatural to the Sooner State.
You all turned me and my friends into super people?
What better to do for your first movie than a teen superhero movie? Go all out.
And all out, he did. Kyle Roberts is the director of the film The Post-Human Project, shot entirely in Oklahoma.
Us in charge of the world. What could possibly go wrong with that?
I just love making Oklahoma look good, if I can. I love showcasing what we could do here in Oklahoma to the world.
And Oklahoma can do it all, complete with actors and crew members from the Sooner State.
98% of our cast and crew was all from Oklahoma. So that's been a big part of this thing from the beginning, this Oklahoma homegrown teen superhero film, which is crazy. We made a teen superhero movie in Oklahoma.
And a superhero movie isn't complete without special effects. And Roberts did them all.
A big part of what I do is a lot of the visual effects. I probably saved us $250,000 from doing most of the visual effects myself.
Yet it's no small task. And while Roberts saved a lot of money, what he didn't save, time.
And then I bring that composition. It's anywhere from 6 to 8 hours for a 4-second shot. So that's probably average. Some of them are way more than that. Some of our fire stuff with Gwen, you're basically emulating a particle from scratch.
And for Roberts, shooting in the heartland of America is the best place for his film.
So people say you have to go to LA to make movies. I think you're crazy. No, I think that's what the beauty of today is. Especially in the last 5 years, the technology is catching up so much to what Hollywood is doing, At the end of the day now, the most creative wins, and I love that. I love that.
Well, now the film was shot on a Red Epic camera, the same camera used to shoot the Amazing Spider-Man movie. And aside from his first feature film, Roberts produces music videos, stop-action films, and is a videographer for News OK. He's also an Emmy Award-winning director and has won 6 National Telly Awards. Now, for more information about the Posthuman Project, just head to our website at okhorizon.com.
Well, for Oklahoma's film industry to continue to expand, it will need a skilled workforce, and that's what's behind the Red Carpet Film Festival in Norman. Here's our Courtney Dehoff.
With the red carpet rolled out and the cameras flashing,
1, 2, 3.
it looks like the Emmys have landed in Oklahoma.
1, 2, 3, and one more.
While it may not be the Emmys, the Red Carpet Film Festival is star-studded in its own right.
Our goal is to bring Hollywood to Oklahoma.
And they are doing just that at Moore Norman Technology Center.
This guy's dream down here.
Chris Kaliski is the digital video instructor.
It's about bringing that real world experience right to our students so they know that here in Oklahoma, you can make a film and you can go on and do bigger and better things. It's really an inspiration, and that's the whole purpose for our festival, is to give them that real world experience, to show their films to the community, and really get some expert advice as well from someone who is in industry right now, living the experience.
Because I'll know someone for a long time.
Students produced short films, casting, shooting, and editing throughout the semester in preparation for the festival.
You ready to stomp those rhinos tonight?
It's everything from the pre-production all the way to post-production. So you have everything from getting the story, storyboard, the scripting, through the actual camera process, the setup, and then of course the post-production.
Moore Norman even partners with the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Foundation to bring producers onto the scene from some of our favorite shows to help the students understand how to interact with their actors and actresses.
So take a couple beats with Alex. Okay. Like you don't, I mean, we all know it's Alex. He's gonna,
Ed Ornelas produces hits like Grey's Anatomy and Private Practice.
Let it register, and then so we get a chance to react. I hope that bringing real-world experience into the classroom is useful for the students, because I mean, I remember when I was a student and you're in the classroom and a lot of it is theoretical, and you have, I would say, you know, a great experience working with actors, but it's only, you know, in that small group that you're working with. When you go out into the working world, the professional world, and you're working with incredible talent, you know, I'm learning things from those people, from people like, you know, Patrick Dempsey and Sandra Oh and Kate Walsh, and I like to take those things and take that experience and the things that I've learned and share that with them, because there's no way to get that, to learn those things, unless you're out there.
And out there they are, showcasing a semester-long project at a film festival designed to cast the future of film in Oklahoma.
1, 2, 3, and then.
Well, this year was the 6th annual Red Carpet Film Festival, the culmination of student film and design work at Moore Norman Technology Center. And joining me now are some digital media students from the Francis Tuttle Technology Center's program at Deer Creek High School. Now, I understand you guys actually do your own live shows.
Yeah, we do. We film our sports, and we've done everything from football to basketball, and now we're moving on to soccer and baseball, and we've done over 40 events, and you can watch what we do on deercreekantlers.tv.
So you're streaming all these things live. That's fantastic. Now, this is above and beyond your just regular classes?
Yes, it is. It's an after-school program. We have about 20 members in the team, and it's been very interesting to just get the opportunities to get those positions in sports broadcasting. We have producers, we have cameramen, we have directors, so students are really getting the hands-on experience from that aspect.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely fantastic. And now I want to hear from you guys. What are your favorite things about doing this?
Some of the favorite things that I've been enjoying is being able to get hands-on experience with this and actually, for a change, put a production on the internet for viewers to watch at home if they would like to. And on top of actually having real-world experience with that.
And I do it for the leadership experience. We're live on the internet,
everyone's watching. So to be a leader and leads your team through an experience like that where messing up is really not an option is really valuable to me. And that's why I do it.
And apparently you're doing something right because you did win the statewide competition here in Oklahoma.
Yes, we did. We won the Business Professionals of America Digital Broadcasting Competition. We'll be going to Indianapolis here in about a month. And we're actually going to get a very interesting opportunity. At Nationals, if we qualify for finals, we get to go out to the field and shoot a 60-second package and have it edited in about an hour and a half. So that's going to be a very interesting experience.
Yeah, so true, really, real life skills. Well, gentlemen, we really appreciate you coming in here to the studio, and good luck, and keep us posted on how you do. And you can see more of their work on our website at okhorizon.com.
You can keep up with us throughout the week. Just head to okhorizon.com, where you can see more of any of our stories, read our reporters' behind-the-scenes blogs, see what others are saying about us on Twitter, and face the facts with our regular updates. So reach out and touch us anywhere and anytime.
Well, it may be hard to believe, but it's been almost 20 years since one of the more iconic movies ever shot in the state was filmed here.
I'm Linda Wade. I'm in the Twister Museum in Waukeeta, Oklahoma. Warner Brothers told us we'd have visitors for a couple of years after the movie came out. I think they didn't realize it was going to be quite so popular with Storm Chasers. It's actually been 19 years since they filmed it. We have visitors pretty much every day, all summer long. Once school's out, people plan their vacations to come here.
Yeah, we see the brush. What's beyond that? Beyond what?
About 15 minutes of the movie was actually filmed in Waukeeta. Even though they were here 2 months filming, you know, a lot of it got cut. Aunt Meg's house specifically was the major scene in Waukeeta, in that they were here while the house was pretty, and then they were here while the house was being torn down by the tornado.
Okay, we're having time to impress me.
The Dorothy is actually our biggest draw for visitors because it was actually in the movie. It's the one that got dumped underneath the yellow Jeep.
Listen to yourself, you're obsessed!
Bill Paxton, being our favorite star from the movie, is from Texas. He corresponds with us, you know, every 5 years or so. So while Bill was here, he brought a football to play catch with all the townspeople. So all the kids in town got to play catch. Anybody that really wanted to play catch with him got to play catch with the football. He had it autographed, and then for my 15th anniversary of the museum, he sent the football to us as a gift because he couldn't attend. And I think one of our favorite scenes is when the Waukeeta Water Tower flashes up on the screen. And we were actually pretty redneck because we were cheering for Waukeeta in a premiere of the movie. But that's probably my favorite shot of the movie, because I know I'm down on the street as an extra right underneath it.
Now, the official Twister Museum is open Tuesday through Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. from April through September. And we do have a link to their website. Just go to okhorizon.com and look under this week's stories. Well, moving from a small town to some small-time players playing in the big time. It's not often that a 50-to-1 long shot is the first to cross the finish line, but that's exactly what happened at the 2009 Kentucky Derby, a story that has been made into a movie starring Oklahoma's very own Christian Kane.
You may know him by his music, but Oklahoma country recording artist Christian Kane knows his way around the big screen too. And his latest starring role is in a movie that seems too good to be true, even if it is.
And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. And it's
50-to-1 is the story of the thoroughbred Mind That Bird that shocked the horse racing world when it seemingly came out of nowhere to run for the roses.
And a spectacular upset. Mind That Bird has won the Kentucky Derby. An impossible result here.
An unlikely winner with an unusual owner, played by Christian Kane.
These were real characters. These were real people in this world that put their heart and soul behind this horse.
There's the only cowboy hats in sight, among the mint juleps and the race day finery gathered at Churchill Downs. Yet, despite their pedigree, it was these Western cowboys and their little gelding that walked away with the Kentucky Derby crown, despite the odds.
Please, God, just don't let him be last.
Well, the movie 50 to 1 can now be found in theaters nationwide. Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, we'll introduce you to Miss America 2014, Nina Davaluri, a groundbreaking young woman who's also an advocate for STEM education. Miss America Nina Davaluri, an Oklahoma show for the heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Well, we are out of time. I'm Rob McClendon. Thanks for watching. See you back here next week.